Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Oddcast Podcast on PodCityPodcastNet.com every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. And, of course, on Facebook, we are on the Oddcast Podcast page. You might see none other than Dean Lewis. Hello, Dean.
Hello, Mr. Mondo. How
yes,
are you?
And Melissa Plaskoff. How are you, Mel?
I'm great. We're just cleaning.
Well, yeah, you know why? Because we have a douche executive producer who can't stand, even if we have, like I had a red pen sitting out here, and Melissa goes, Mondo, red pen. And I'm like, what? She goes, Jagger's going to get mad. And I had to go,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a little bit of lint on here on this black surface.
No, we have a lint brush for that, actually.
Yeah, I know. Oh, not
I'm sure
shocking.
we do, with his initials on it.
Not shocking.
But
So-
don't expect to use that lint brush in the break room.
Yeah, because we can't have a break room. which
Yeah,
I don't understand.
yeah. So
We're humans with needs to maybe sit down and maybe have a coffee or
Not
something.
allowed.
this is not just product placement. By the way, these Oddcast podcast cups are fantastic. I do have some
Purple.
hot chocolate in it. Yeah, right. The only thing is, we are not allowed to have a coffee machine in here because our executive producer, who shall remain unnamed for right now,
Right.
Yeah, he watched the Russian space program at 63, and it's like, that capsule, that's what I want the offices to feel like.
Yeah.
Just enough oxygen to survive. It smells like monkeys, but no coffee machine.
No, and when I was putting together the vending machine, I was talking about things that would taste okay, and he made it very clear that it is not my personal vending machine. This is for other people. So, yeah.
Okay, well, what would you have put? Because there's like chili cheese, Cheetos, and Sun Chips.
Like
and-
Funyuns.
Yeah.
and-
What would you have put in it?
I was trying to go a more healthier
No,
route. And
quinoa bars.
kale chips.
F that.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, great show. Glad to have you with us on this Friday. Great show we're going to have today. We're going to have hypnotist Marina Spriggs.
Yes.
And she's with Total Life Counseling. She actually works with Melissa and has done some work with Dean. She is a licensed professional counselor as an intern, but she's got some really good credentials on her as well. And we'll tell you about an upcoming workshop that she's going to have going on. She also has a website, anotherwaytherapy.com. We're going to talk about Crudo Vodka. Welcome them to the show. We're going to show you their drink of the month, and we actually are, it's fantastic when you catch it. And then another thing that we caught, which was really weird, it's kind of like catching Bigfoot, was Dean doing something
Yes.
while we were on the air last week, and we're going to show it to you, as well as something that I was doing that people were like, why would you do that, Mondo? And I'll explain why coming up in the show later. And then Jansen is doing something that he currently does. Now, Melissa, you're not a big fan of what he does.
I'm not.
Is that personal preference?
I just think it's, personal, and it's just very stripped down and
Really?
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. So you'll see what we're talking about with Jansen.
Y'all should have
And-
seen the face she gave me earlier when she saw me wearing my cape.
Yeah, I know.
No, I
She-
walked in today and he's on a hoverboard and a cape, and I said he looked like he's from the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
and flying down the hall.
He looked like a Jedi to me. He was like gliding down the hallway, just floating.
Well, it's Jedi Jansen.
And
It's rippling in the air.
I said, where does one purchase that? And he said, it's custom. And I said, oh, when we were talking about it, and he said, I made it. And I said, I love that you're calling it custom, but you made this yourself. I said he should sell them.
He absolutely should. We're also going to be talking about a special alarm clock made especially for you ladies out there who have discriminating tastes and who also like to be woken up in a very nice, gentle way.
Well, also with the time change, it's tough right now.
Yeah.
So anything to help, why not?
Yeah. And Dean actually has some ideas for that as well. And then, believe it or not, there are things out there in this world. You know, you've seen the toast that looks like Mary or Jesus or something in the cloud or a tree. we found shit that looks like Trump, and we're going to show you those things. And then, of course, none other than our esteemed executive producer, Jagger, we'll have on near the end of the show. We've got a doozy for him today, and can't wait to see how he weighs in. But first, let's talk about Another Way therapy. So, Melissa, you actually have trouble sleeping.
Yes.
And so you
Really?
you went out looking for help in that regard. So medicinals weren't helping you?
Well, I take enough medicine to keep me happy during the day, and
All
my
right.
little cocktail, it's just like piling up, and the kids are asking questions. So I'm like, okay, we're good. So, but if I take a sleeping pill at night, it just doesn't work. The next day, I feel like I'm hungover, and it doesn't work for me. So I met Marina, and she personalized hypnosis for me, asked me specific questions on what do I like to smell, or what are my favorite smells, and what are some of my other favorite things. And I listen to it, and you fall asleep, and it's lovely, and I'm in the lavender fields, and it's fabulous.
Well, so let's talk to Marina Spriggs. This is excuse me, this is from her website. She has a YouTube page dedicated to her work, and this is one of the things that you can catch on her webpage, or on her YouTube page. Coming right up on the Oddcast podcast. On Pod City Podcast Net.
Don't try to go to the break room and get
Yeah.
some coffee.
Yeah,
Can
stay
I listen to
tuned.
this recording while driving.
So it's not a.
Hello,
It's just audio.
this is Marina, and I want to thank you for trying another way. Go ahead and just find yourself someplace really nice where you can either sit down or lie down to relax, and take a couple moments to just get yourself really comfortable. One of the first things I want to let you know is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, which means that you're entirely in control the entire time. And maybe you want to close your eyes now, or maybe you just want to stare at something for a little bit. Or maybe you just want to close your eyes whenever you want to close them. It's really okay. And let's go ahead now and take a nice deep breath.
All right, take a nice deep breath. Marina Spriggs, there you are.
Hello.
You're the person behind the voice.
There you go.
I am.
I can do that.
I want to have a voice off between the two of you.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. I don't want to
Wow.
put I don't want to put everybody to sleep as we go off. Now, there, when people hear hypnotist, you can kind of see it on our screen. They think of the guy who has that little disc that goes around, and you hear that music in your head, woo, and you will fall asleep. You will fall asleep, and then they make you do a chicken or whatever. So what is I call them carnival hypnotists. And Dean, you've probably seen those guys at the Improv.
Yeah, Flip Orley is a friend of mine too, but he's also a hypnotist and
In a
I've
comedic
seen him do
sense.
a comedic sense, and I've seen him have 6 people on stage doing tremendously funny things.
I've done
where-
it.
You did?
I've been on stage. It's recorded. There's a video of me taking my clothes off because they said I was a washing machine, and I started dry humping some girl. And I'm swaying now.
And what happened when you got hypnotized?
I know, right? Well, here's the thing, and this is what I discovered, because they have to put you out. So they were like, concentrate on your hand and concentrate. And the way he was describing stuff to us, and then I was concentrating so hard on everything that he was saying, then all of a sudden he would go deep sleep, and then you'd be out. And so that's the only thing I know about as far as hypnotists go. But your style, I suppose, is different.
It is.
So how different is it?
Well, very different because I
I'm
don't.
going to have you
Okay, I
talk
don't-
like you're talking in your microphone at
in my
home.
microphone.
Yes.
And so mine is different, and it's called clinical hypnosis, which is the key word if you're doing like more therapeutic stuff versus the stage hypnosis. And the kind of therapeutic hypnosis people, aren't very happy about the stage hypnosis people because that's what people think is like, okay, you're going to make me do something I don't want to do and quack like a duck.
Yeah, right.
And I won't go into the how kind of stage hypnosis works because there's a lot of very talented people, kind of like magicians are. But in real hypnosis, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So that means I can't make you do anything you would not do normally. So what I use hypnosis for is to let your conscious mind kind of take a back seat so that I could speak to your unconscious mind and make changes that you want to make. So
Doesn't it feel like she's doing it right
Yeah,
now?
I know. I'm like kind of like feeling tingly.
Like I want to be with you when you get pulled over by the police, and then all of a sudden this cop's crying on the side of the road. It is my mother's fault. Just go, ma'am. Just go.
you will not give me a ticket.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Jedi mind trick, essentially. So when it comes to stuff like that, when you're, how many sessions does it usually take a person to meet with you before, or is it immediate? You can get with them and immediately work with them to put them, I don't know, is it called being put under? I don't know what the term is.
Well, so I'll explain what hypnosis really is, and I call it like a state of trance. And it's something that people are actually in and out of every day. It's a state of hyper-focus. And an example that somebody might know is if you're ever driving a car, you're going down a highway, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm at this exit. And you weren't consciously paying attention to steering the wheel, putting your foot down on the accelerator. You probably also noticed cars like that maybe were getting near your lane, but you weren't focusing on any of them at a time, but yet you were still driving, not crashing. Hypnosis is the same way, a state of trance, where you've got one part of your mind that's on automatic going, and the other part is focused. So when people say, oh, I can't be hypnotized, well, you actually hypnotize yourself every day. And people sometimes can hypnotize themselves when they hear things and repeat them over and over again to themselves and start believing things.
So do you also, there are, I guess, are hypnotists who do past life regression. Do you do stuff like that as well? Like because are those real?
Well, I mean, they can be. I don't.
Because you kind of delve into their subconscious. So you're pulling stuff out. Like, can you pull out emotional things that they may have forgotten in the past?
Well, I don't consider it like me doing anything. I consider my voice as a guide. So I'm going to say things, and everybody's different, and your mind is going to pick up what you're supposed to pick up. So
you don't lead
technically-
them.
Well, I lead. It's called. I consider it more of a guide. So I don't do anything. I just talk, and you do all the work.
So Melissa, in your regard, so you were having trouble sleeping. So how did you two get hooked up then?
Well, we were friends, and I said, I want to try this. So let's go through an exercise. I said, if we're going to talk and I'm going to interview you, I kind of need to go through it so I can talk about it. And she interviewed me, right? Was that what?
Yes, I have 3 questions, and I said, okay, and here's the deal. You have to try it to see if it works. So, hey, let me send you this recording. All you have to do is listen. Let me know. She gave me a nice email back. It worked.
Yeah.
So weird. It totally worked. And it wasn't real kooky and different. And it was really easy. And it was sent to my phone. And we didn't even have to be in person to have our meeting. Now, these two met.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
Dean and Marina
yes.
said, so how did y'all's paths cross through you, Melissa?
Right.
And so it's the same thing. You have 3 questions that you ask people. Are they probing? Are they personal? Or are they just kind of peripheral? So that way we just kind of get an idea of where you're coming from.
Well, I can kind of tell you, like the 3 questions I ask people is, first of all, tell me a place that you really enjoy being and to describe it in detail. Then I might ask you to tell me about a time when you think you couldn't do something but were able to do it. And then sometimes the third one.
I like the
mix
smell.
around with that.
I don't know. There was a lot of lavender with mine.
Yeah. So that was what
Really?
and so I have people describe like
Oh, so it's all our senses. So sight, smell, touch, see, all that.
Well, yeah, because when you have emotions or experiences, more than one thing's going on. So if you can think of something that you really, really enjoyed and really think about it, the reason why we have millions and millions of memories, and you probably don't remember like what you did the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m., but you have selectively maybe remembered either good or bad things from 20 years ago. Why is that? Well, there's something that happened during that time emotionally that set things off in your body that kind of sealed that deal.
Can you help me forget Fridays at 10 a.m. for the last 6 weeks?
Well, we could certainly try.
Good.
Okay, so when you two spoke,
Yes.
you had a private conversation.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and you don't have to share any of that, or if you'd like to share a piece, that'd be helpful.
Well, just overall, it was I lack motivation. That's the big factor, and she was very good about that. And I feel like I overshared, but she was able to, like I told her this long thing, and she's like, okay, that's good. But now here's the question I asked. Like I realized I was answering I was answering too much. So,
Right.
so we got it narrowed down, and then she originally had sent me just on my phone, like I guess it was just a basic one.
Yeah, so one that I make ones up that are sort of good for anything for anybody. So things that are just for people for change, or stress relief or anxiety, something that everybody goes through that anyone can listen to and can be effective. And then I also do, and like ones I have on my YouTube are for anyone, but I can do personalized custom ones. So if you have a particular issue like sleeping or getting up in the night or whatever issue you might have, we can drill down and do something more personal for you too.
Yeah, and so that's what she then sent me. Is she personalized it, and
Yeah, I saw you driving a Rolls Royce this morning. Boy, it's
I know.
it's very effective.
I know.
I
So
like that.
motivated.
He is.
So she motivated me to rob people.
That's okay. Whatever works.
Okay, so do you feel like
It's interesting. I do feel real motivated. Now, the thing that we addressed overall, it's partially because I haven't had time to do that. But like yesterday, out of the blue, I just started doing push-ups and jumping jacks.
No, you didn't.
For no reason whatsoever.
are you serious?
For no reason whatsoever. I was just like,
You look like you lost weight. You look great.
thank you. I'm down to so and then like she told me, like, are you taking vitamins? Like it made me realize, I'll never get married again. But I was like this is why you need someone sweet in your life, because she was like the last 2 days has been like my earth mother. I don't know what else to say.
Aw,
where she
thank
like
you.
did all this great stuff, and so I'm taking vitamins now. I exercise. I'm like motivated today to go do stuff, and I've just listened to the things a couple times.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So look at you.
Sweet. And yeah, what I like about kind of hypnosis is, and depending on just where you are on like getting motivated, or if you're in, depression, crisis, or something, sometimes it's hard to just do stuff yourself. Because I've been that way before, when you're just like, whenever you're wrapped up in whatever it is, or you've got drama going on with something, it's just what's swirling in your head. And obviously, if people knew what to do, or people mostly do intellectually, like if you've got a drinking problem, stop drinking. It's easy to say, but not easy to do. If ask anybody who's tried to quit any bad habit.
Look at Mondo and I at a buffet.
Not
We know
easy.
to
Yeah,
quit.
we're the Gravy Kings.
So yeah, so not easy. But what you can do is it sort of works because we're all just programmed in habits, and they're made up
Yeah.
from like a long time ago.
Right. And see, my contention on that is I'm hardwired that way. And so the only way, here's a good example. If my wife says, do the dishes, she's wired in that you do the dishes right now. I'm not wired that way because I'm doing whatever, playing a game, crocheting or something. Well, she'll say, I figured out the easiest way to make her happy is to go, okay, I'll do it in 10 minutes. So now I've set a time frame for her. But I had to adjust my way of thinking to do that. And I don't really consider that groundbreaking, but I can see where is it hypnotherapy? Would that be another term for it? Because it's therapeutic through hypnosis.
Sure, hypnotherapy, clinical hypnosis, whatever you want to call
Okay.
it.
And so
Where do you learn the sexy voice?
it's right here.
I
Come
don't
on.
know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, is that something because
So I can do a lot of different voices.
We have a show for you.
we do?
yes.
Yeah.
Please share.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
By the way, why do I have a bill for $4.99 a minute?
Right. So, Marina Spriggs, you do total life counseling. What is the website address that people can find you on?
So they can find me at anotherwaytherapy.com.
Okay. And you are a licensed professional counselor intern. You do have a master's degree.
Yes.
So, like, as far as psychologist, you're like a step down.
Step down, don't have the PhD.
Yeah. Are you ever going to pursue that?
Well, technically, at the end of the day, other than administering some tests, we can do similar things. And the number one, like this is on the test that everybody takes, the number one determinant of success in therapy is, do you get along with your therapist and like them?
How funny.
Has nothing to do with anything else. So, I mean, and just like anybody else, you're either going to jive with somebody or you're not.
Right.
I don't take it personally. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Well, the other way, you're very good. So what you could do is just go to a psychiatrist university and just sit down and talk to them and walk out with many degrees.
Yes,
I
I
wanted
could.
to just do that.
That's true.
Good idea. Okay, you have also upcoming workshops.
Right.
I
So
do.
if people want to join and learn and meet you, November 16th, right?
So November
7:30?
16th, it's being the best version of yourself. So it's at a place called Self Unbound, and all you have to do is come, And you show up and you just sit down. There'll be yoga mats there, and you just lie down, and all you have to do is listen and see what your mind does. And it's an experience like something you've never experienced before until you experience it.
And then you also have something coming up in December. Is essentially the same thing?
Same similar
location?
thing at the Yoga Movement, yes.
Okay, very good. That'll be December 3rd at 1 at the Yoga Movement. So November 16th, 7:30, Self Unbound. December 3rd at 1 p.m., Yoga Movement. And again, Marina Spriggs, you're so fantastic.
Yes, and this is how good she is. She's not even sitting in a chair. She's levitated
She
during
is.
this entire interview.
Yep, and there's her website address that you can see, anotherwaytherapy.com. And she does have YouTube videos. Your own YouTube page is
Another Way Hypnosis.
there we go. So very good. Thank you for coming to the Oddcast podcast.
Hey, thank you so much
Love
for
to have you
having me.
back when Dean's about 120 pounds of
Lighter.
pure muscle.
Yes.
Give him 2 weeks. I'm sure of it. Thank you so much. So we did a really cool thing. Crudo Vodka has said, hey, you know what? We got a really cool thing that we can do with you for the month of November. And one of those things is a drink of the month. And so they came in and we were like, hey, man, show me what you got. So this is what Crudo Vodka is going to show you as far as their drink of the month, how you can do it.
If you choose to walk away.
All right, so this is so fantastic. We have Crudo Vodka with us, and we are going to be doing a drink of the month. And I can guarantee you this drink you've never heard of, unless you've been to Bar 1856, and we have none other than the mix master himself, Jeff Krause. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man.
Good
How
to
are
see you. So he's got a drink called Painting the Roses Red, and that's why you probably never heard of it before, because why?
It's only available at Bar 1856.
And you came up with it.
Yes, sir.
So it's fantastic. So we're going to be using a really, really great vodka. It's Crudo Vodka. And this, of course, is the Flawless. And what makes Crudo Vodka flawless, it's been distilled 15 times. And as anybody can tell you, man, once you try a 15 times distilled vodka, Crudo is the king. And that's how it is. So let's get after it. Jeff, tell us what you're going to do.
All right, cool, man. I'm going to make this cocktail. So I made a smoked rosemary, simple syrup.
Yeah, so smoked rosemary, when it comes down to it, not a lot of people do that. How did you even come up with the idea of smoking rosemary to infuse it in a simple syrup?
I just try a lot of things over the years, and whatever
And
works,
you thought
works.
the profile taste is going to be actually pretty good to
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
Cool.
Gives it a little more savory of a flavor. So I smoked it with some mesquite chips. Then we got a pamplemousse rosé grapefruit liqueur.
Okay, very good.
That's gonna be a half ounce of fresh lemon juice.
How much simple syrup of the rosemary?
So that's a half ounce of the simple syrup, half ounce of the pamplemousse, half ounce of lemon.
Okay,
Be an ounce and a half of the fresh grapefruit.
all right.
And then it's gonna be 2 ounces of the Crudo vodka.
Yay! Of course, that's the best part, you know, when it comes down to it. And if you cough and a little bit more goes in, that's okay
That's
too,
always
right?
good. That's
You know,
always
just a little
good.
bit extra. Doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It won't hurt mine, I guarantee you that.
And we're gonna give it a good little shake.
Okay. This is a highball. You put it in a Tom Collins glass.
Yeah.
And a great, you know, as far as Thanksgiving goes, with Thanksgiving coming up, drink of the month. This is Painting the Roses Red with Crudo Vodka. Jeff Krause, the mix master, shaking it up, shaking it up. All right, so look, my mouth's watering, and I didn't think that would be possible.
We're gonna top with a little bit of soda.
Okay, just give it a little fizz, make your mouth feel happy. As if it isn't going to be happy enough with Crudo Vodka inside of it.
Exactly.
Let's just give it a little bit of fizz to it. Now, when you came up with the idea for the drink, how many times was this incarnation before you said this is the perfection of it?
Good 5-6 times before I got it right to where I wanted it to be.
So again, it's smoked rosemary. You're going to do a rosemary garnish. We also have some grapefruit garnish. This is called Painting the Roses Red. You can only get this at Bar 1856. Where's Bar 1856 located?
Off of Coit and 635.
Very good. So make sure you get out that way. And wait, before you go, let's check this bad boy out. All right, sucker. Crudo, 15 times distilled. Why is my pinky up?
I don't.
Oh, wow.
When in doubt, pinky out.
Smooth, yo. You want this. Go to Bar 1856. Ask for Jeff Krause. He'll get you squared away. Crudo Vodka is the king. Catch you. Yeah, and that was excellent. Like I said, we were using the flawless version. You saw that with Crudo. There's a red label and a blue label. The blue label's been distilled 15 times. The red label's been distilled 8 times, and you can tell a difference. But you can put this up against any of the top end vodkas like Belvedere, Chopin, Grey Goose. Those usually the ones that everybody knows. But these guys in Plano, they're brilliant. I love Roman. He's the owner. He is Ukrainian. And you won't go wrong. And so try the drink out because you will really, really just love it.
Jansen liked it.
Jansen, a little bit of toasty, were you?
Yeah, I was. That's why.
right.
That's why I saw the camera wobble there for a second.
Just so you know, we made a version of it. And so Jansen was like, well, here, I want to try it. So while he was drinking it, then he had another one, then he had another one. And Jansen usually...
They brought a whole bottle just for me.
Well, Jansen usually smokes. So this is a different experience for him.
Okay.
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
So
It
there we
woke
go.
up a different part of his brain.
Now, here's the thing. Dean, maybe you need some Crudo vodka in your life.
Here we go. All right. Why is
Okay.
that, Mondo?
Well, because Dean, you need to wake up and smell the roses, Dean.
Okay.
Evidently, Melissa. Well, do you want to say what happened here, Melissa?
We received a message from a viewer / listener, since we're both ways, right? We go both
That's
ways.
what she said.
And the question was, what's going on with Dean?
Right.
Is he tired?
Yes.
Is he bored?
Yes.
Is he over it?
Yes.
Take a look.
Here's the video to it. Drives me
I know, because you want to
batshit.
comment.
Oh, it drives me bananas because I think on the whole I'm actually pretty affable to everybody, but there are some people who, to me, are idiots that post stuff that just drives me bananas, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I know what's
or
happening.
go the opposite way where somebody just posts, oh no, not again, and that's it in their timeline, and you're like, well, that's clickbait, and then you find out something happened, they stubbed their toe or something, but I loathe those postings, the posting without explanation.
Wow. Nice.
Yes! Yes, baby boy! Listen to my voice. You will fall asleep.
All right. Well, since this is my last show, let me explain what happened.
No, I already know you're going to break my balls. That evidently, I'm sure it's... Well, Mondo, you were saying, and I just zoned out. And we have... Dean, you and I have been together for 10 years, and this isn't the first time you've fallen asleep on the air.
No, at the old place, I used to fall asleep all
All
the
the
time.
time, right. So this isn't anything
But
new
like
for
that
me
was
to
during sports, right?
No,
No,
this
no,
was...
no.
This is while we were doing what we do now.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I
used
mean.
to
But
get like 3 hours sleep a night.
okay.
Seriously.
So what was going on last week?
So I'll tell you what that was exactly. Was the makeup and all that stuff. My eyes were burning from. I kept going like this with all the hair and
Dean,
everything.
you didn't have any mascara on.
He
Just
put stuff on
own
my
up to
eyes.
it.
Oh, you're right. He
put
did
stuff
put
on my eyes,
That's right.
and that hair stuff was in my eyes, and I was just my eyes
No.
were burning so much. Seriously, and I was just closing them to let them like, oh, when is this gonna? And I was in hell. That wasn't sleep though.
That wasn't?
No.
Okay.
Well, he's a somnambulist anyway, so...
Well,
it's okay.
I just, okay. We were just a little concerned. And then when we heard that, we had to
So a
dive a
listener
little.
actually said something.
Yes.
Was it Jagger?
Does that count?
Yes. Yes.
But see, that's the other thing is Jagger should know better. Jagger knows this is part of Dean's deal. He sleeps while he works. It's okay.
Yeah,
He
no,
still
I'll
produces.
admit if I was asleep, that wasn't it at all. My eyes were burning. I was like the rest of that day, I was miserable because the taste of that lipstick, I couldn't get off my face. I picked my kids up at school. They're like, "What's going on, Dad?" It was
Is there something you need to
miserable.
tell us?
Did you walk inside to pick them up?
No, thankfully not. I did not have to do that. But even the next day, it was because the guy, when he put the stuff on, and then afterwards, I was like, "How do you get this off?" He goes, "Well, that's a stain."
He did say that.
And it was a stain until the next day. It
Right,
was still on
yeah.
there. And I went home and I was doing the Vaseline, like he said, and I was
Mm-hmm.
actually brushing my teeth later and brushed, and it still wouldn't come off.
Y'all talked about something last week. Jeff Roos, by the way, is who we're
Yes,
talking
Jeff
about.
Roos.
Jeff is a drag queen, and he evidently has some very, very good shows at a bunch of places. And Jeff, Melissa, you and Jeff were talking about how to remove makeup
Yeah.
using baby oil.
He said baby oil. So did you try that? Did you try the baby oil?
No, I thought he said Vaseline.
You weren't listening. You were sleeping.
Oh, my God.
Baby oil.
Well, my final show. So
all
let's
right.
make it good.
Yeah, we're trying.
Of
Yeah,
course
so
Jagger saw that.
there was something else that I brought in last week that I was doing off camera, and then we usually after.
Well, hold on, back up. Okay, so we got into the. May I interrupt you? I just
It's
did.
too late to ask that.
Okay,
question.
so we parked our cars. We were pulling in to get ready for the show, and you come in with like all these things. You've got your knife and fire starter and everything hanging from your belt, and then you had this blanket or something. And I said, what are you carrying in? And it had your needles, and you said I crochet, and it was shocking to me. That's the last thing I would have ever imagined that you do. And you said I learned how to do this while I was going through
chemotherapy.
right.
Because I asked my chemotherapy doctor, hey, by the way, I had cancer, for those of you that don't know.
I was waiting.
11:33 or 10:33, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Follicular dendritic cell sarcoma.
Hold on, you
Anyway,
did make a mention during the vodka.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come on. People need to know.
Yes.
Awareness. So he said, take up crochet. Because what else you do for 6-7 hours during this? So I was like, all right. I went on YouTube, learned how to crochet through a YouTube video, and it's tough because I'm left-handed. So I had to try
Let's
to
take a look.
Yeah, so here we are. This is called a double crochet that I'm doing. And by the way, the yarn I'm using is very nice, very soft, very tender. But, here's the other thing. Hey, let me tell you something. I'm leaving something behind that a lot of people, I can tell you in chemo, this guy saw me, and he was like, you're a man. What the hell do you think you're doing? And I'm like, I'm crocheting. He goes, but you're a man. I was like, so what? I'm a man. Man,
I don't think that has anything to do with it. It's amazing to me that you really do. You learn these patterns, or
No,
is it just one stitch?
Well, I call them runs. So you're supposed to count, because if you lose count, you'll have odd looking shape. So that's actually just something that, I've crocheted scarves. I've crocheted a bunch of stuff.
And what do you do with the final product?
Just hangs out. My wife told me I got too much. So
You should donate them.
well, she said make a quilt out of it
Yeah.
because I got a lot.
Okay.
Crochet, a favorite of grandmothers, chemo patients, and prisoners.
Yeah, right. Hey, there used to be crochet clubs in New York and in LA because it was a thing. And so all these people would show up doing crochet. And as it turns out, there's a lot of guys who do crochet.
I don't think it needs to be like guys don't do crochet. I'm just surprised.
Well, you're surprised that I was doing crochet. So that in
not
and
as
of
a guy. I just
Yes.
for you
As a mondo.
As a mondo, right?
What? Because I'm all man? I'm a heavy duty bad mother hunter.
That's one way you could describe it.
Thank
But
you.
It sounds to me like your doctor was just irritated with you. And he was like,
Let
I
me
don't know,
ima-
take up crochet. Just would you quit calling me?
Let me emasculate.
Okay. I'm going to.
Oh.
The reason I say that is no other men there crocheting. I mean, if you're given suggestion by your doctor and then you end up being the only one doing it, what does that tell you about you?
Well, no. Here's the thing. When I went in,
Self-reflection.
I mean, if the doctor had said that to, you know what? I tell all my patients to crochet. Crochet is the thing. But you're the only one sitting there, knit one, purl two.
yeah, and look, I love it. It's not knitting; it's crocheting. Knitting uses
All right,
two
whatever.
sticks.
Oh,
Thank you.
please.
Let's get that right.
Oh, wow.
I don't want people to think I knit. I don't know how to knit.
okay, so that's
I'm gonna
something
get
about
mugged by
you
these
that I was.
grandmothers with a blanket where I can put my fingers through it.
Yeah, or with Jansen's cape. I was thinking that. I mean, that surprised me about you. And
In a
then-
good way.
Sure. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, okay, I'll take that as a negative. Nothing wrong with that. Look, you can't hurt my feelings.
No, not in a bad or good.
It's bad. The way you responded, it's obviously.
No, it's not bad.
It's Melissa. It's okay. My feelings can't get hurt. I'm all man, girl.
No, I know.
I-
So the picture you just posted with all of that yarn that you just bought, was that
yeah.
real?
Oh, it's
so thick.
awesome. It is, and it's so hard to work with. That yarn that I got is you're supposed to use your arms to knit with.
Oh my gosh.
But I have a really big needle that
What
I
are you
use-
making, a hut?
Well,
You have a really big.
Here's the-
He just
here's
goes, I have a really big needle.
a really big, long, thick needle. Amazing,
Oh, my-
unbreakable.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I was surprised that
How are you
you.
getting late every night and I'm not?
I'm married.
Okay, so how? That surprised me.
That
And
I
then-
get late every night.
Yes,
Thank
and no, and Jansen. So he's
Yes. So Jansen does-
dropping random shit, and I'm not really, but I'm going. You do what?
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, you can look up a thing called carpaccio, and carpaccio is thin slices of steak that's raw. And usually how they cook it is with an acid base. So they'll run lemon on it or lime or vinegar base, and that will kind of help cook the meat. But Jansen does something completely different. Jansen, what do you do? Show us in this video.
It sounds like somebody who just can't wait for beef jerky to set.
I love beef jerky.
Whenever I grill steaks, I always get 3. 2 for the grill and then 1 to eat raw. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I get a little bit of fresh salt and pepper. And then I chow down.
Do you let it come up to room temperature?
100% raw steak.
Hey, you know how you can go the distance without even more? Is whisk up a raw egg and then put that on top, and you'll have like steak au poivre.
There you go. Sounds good.
Except they usually use
put it on some clay that hasn't been made to a plate yet.
So
Look at you, Quest for Fire.
you know, I eat my steak medium rare. So I like for it to be pink on the inside and nice and brown and crusty on the outside.
No, see, I like mine rare, like pan-seared, barely cooked on top. Right. And I was telling a buddy about this, and he said, "Yeah, my dad, he does the same thing, and he's the one that told me that his dad would always buy an extra steak, cut it up in cubes, and then put some cracked pepper and salt on it, and eat it while he's grilling." And so I started trying it, and
But aren't you likely to get worms and stuff like that?
Well,
He actually got sick this week.
No,
But
I didn't.
Considering your source of where you source the meat, I would be concerned about it. It's not coming from the highest of end of marketplaces, so I would just be a little bit concerned because these people eat the food in the aisles while they're shopping. So I and they're my people, by the way. My last name is Vasquez. Just so give you an
He's
idea,
making-
can we narrow
you're
down the
cracking on the
supermarket?
Fiesta. Hey, listen,
I
Fiestas are great.
didn't mention any names. It could have been El Mercado, but go ahead.
Thanks for kissing potential sponsors away.
Yeah. There goes that one.
No, I'm just saying that here's the thing. You do have to be careful with that kind of meat. Now, they're T-bone steaks, and Kroger usually has them, T-bone 2 for $10. And you get the ribeye and the New York strip on your side. Fantastic. I know because I've done it. I'm not just a client, but I'm a user.
So you'll eat raw meat.
No, medium rare. Won't eat raw meat.
Okay. I like medium rare, but the raw thing, that was a little intense. And then
You
he
like
did have,
sushi?
I love sushi.
Okay.
So,
Raw fish.
what? Okay, there's a difference. I don't know what it is.
Okay, thank you. Have you ever tried raw meat? Not medium rare. I'm talking like what Jansen did.
No.
So you've never had like steak tartare or anything like that?
I have had that.
Okay, that's raw
It's
meat.
the same thing.
Well,
No,
no, I don't know if I've had that. I don't know. I don't know. It freaks me out. And then you did get sick. You're lying.
No.
I had
did.
that Chinese food across the street. That's what made me sick.
No, he's like, I think that meat got me
That's
sick.
what, you don't eat Chinese food from a racetrack. Let's just say that.
No, not the racetrack. It's at the
Oh,
bank.
okay. By the way,
How's a hamburger from the racetrack?
hey, the hamburgers from racetrack, $2.19 for the double? Get it. Good stuff, friend. You'll love it. Add your own condiments. Good shit. Hey, here's another thing. You want to wake up in the morning? You, as a female,
Or during the show.
or during the show, you can do that. But if you want to wake up in the morning, Melissa found a great way
I did.
for women.
Yes.
Now, look, this shouldn't be woman exclusive, though. I'm sure that men can use this as well.
It's not like crocheting.
It's certainly not. Exactly what are we talking about, Melissa?
Well, with the time change, I think everyone's affected, differently. And obviously the spring forward is worse than
I love it.
the falling back. You kind of get that extra hour. But I saw this great video and a product that made so much sense to wake you up. And why wouldn't everyone want to be
Woken up in
this way
manner.
every single day?
It's gonna be doing that in my pants.
I actually do have a multitude of issues waking up in the morning.
Sure.
This looks kind of like a little mini speculum. It goes just directly under your vagina, but I thought it was gonna go inside my vagina, so kind of weird to say, a little disappointed.
Day 1. Huge fail. I was supposed to be up 45 minutes ago. Guys, once again, it didn't even go off. I don't know what's going on here, but I can't really let anyone touch it.
While the alarm clock is very misleading, the vibrator works, and now I just feel like a very dirty lady. So moving forward, we're gonna get the updated version of the rooster. Oh no, knows what that means.
All right, this is the first time that this has actually worked.
It starts really, really slow, and then it like builds to a crescendo. It was like a slow build. Personally, I'm a fan. I don't know if I would have believed it from someone else, but I'm definitely gonna keep using it. And now I have 2, so like I don't know what I'll do with those, but we'll find a use for them.
Oh, you don't know what to do with 2. Hello?
Yeah, what did you call it the other day?
Airtight.
That's right.
But that's
Wow.
that's different. That's something else.
Okay, so I guess I was asking, we were talking about this, and I said, what about you guys? And then someone responded with, I have a penis.
Dean.
That was me.
Okay,
Because you're
so-
like, yeah, what? Shouldn't there be something that wakes you up with your penis? And I was like, yeah, it's my penis. It's been waking me up for over 50 years. By going, hey, psst, let's get going.
So
The day has
it's
begun.
really like the alarm clock. I mean, I know the morning stuff that goes on with
Yeah,
it. I
morning
mean, I don't
glory.
know, but I've
Yeah.
seen it. I've
Yeah.
heard
See,
about
I
it.
have a theory about that. And Jagger, who is the executive producer of the Oddcast podcast, by the way. Jagger, I tried to say that men wake up with an erection in the morning because they need to urinate. And he goes, that's a fallacy. I did a show with Dr. Judy.
Who is that?
A licensed sex therapist and whatever.
Clinical psychologist.
Thank you, medical psychologist.
Oh, okay.
And she said that that's an impossibility, but it's not.
You think every time when you wake up,
With a rager,
Right.
that it is correlating to my having to urinate. It has for the last 50 years.
Okay, but the problem with that is why during the middle of the day when you have to pee, you don't have a rager then.
Because at night when you're sleeping, it prevents you from having
that
a
is
wet bed.
That's wrong.
No,
Mm-mm.
it's not. It's totally
Okay,
true.
I will get an expert on.
Yeah, bring him on. His
Great.
name's Jagger. We'll have him on next week.
Here's the thing, Melissa. Every night you go to sleep with Mondo. And in
Right.
the morning, wake up with a clipboard and take notes.
Well, here's the thing.
Basically.
I do. I wake up with it, and then when I go relieve myself, it goes away.
Okay, well, I will have a urologist on, so we're good.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Dr. Kadeski is great.
Now, Dean, you also came up with some alternative versions of.
Well, I was going to say there's another device that can wake you up in the morning, but you need to be very careful because what this does is it wakes you up by ripping your panties off. It's called the Weinstein watch. And then there's also, there's the Woody Allen alarm clock, which will wake up everybody except the Hollywood elite. And they ignore the allegations because they make money from his movies. There's also the I call this the Midnight Cowboy alarm, which wakes you up with the sound of Dustin Hoffman screaming, "I'm molesting here! I'm molesting here!"
Right.
There's also the Corey Feldman alarm clock, and that one has an alarm that's been going off since 2011, but everyone claims it's not important. And then there's the Bryan Singer, this alarm clock, which it's not digital, and the way it wakes you up is when the hands on the clock reach under the blanket to yank your junk.
There you go.
Yeah, we go.
Love
and we
it.
didn't do the last. Okay, very good. So yeah, those are my alarm clocks.
I love it.
And they also have the pain, so it's like
Yes.
they get like a double.
Yeah, Corey Feldman just outed Charlie Sheen, by the way. Did y'all hear about that?
No, is that true?
Well,
Heard about that.
He outed him. He said that Charlie Sheen molested him during the movie. Can't think
I don't
of
know
the
why
name
I'm
of it.
upset. Like Charlie Sheen was such an angel before this.
And then Louis C.K., of course, all the news.
I can't.
All the news. And Dean,
Breaks
of
my
course,
heart.
is a stand-up comedian at the Improv and
Love
Hyenas.
Louis C.K. Love the guy.
Yeah. Do you still? Considering all the allegations.
I think the allegations are true. I've heard these rumors for years, but when this actually comes out, and the day his movie's going to get released, I mean, it seems like a hate piece a little bit, but he laid that bed, so he's got to deal with it. But laid that path, I mean. But it's one of those things where you hope that somehow he can. I don't. How
There
do you
is
come
no-
back from that. There's no way to come back.
No,
Yeah,
there's
you
no-
can't.
Even he was making phone calls to people back in 2015 to apologize for his aberrant behavior. So, yeah, that
But it's the same thing like with Bill Cosby when all that broke about Bill Cosby like 2 years ago, I guess, or whatever. He still had sold out shows. I still think there's a fan base that are going to go see Louis C.K. They're going to, if Bill Cosby went out on the road, he'd still sell out. I think that there's people who will, claim they don't want to hear. That's the same thing with Trump supporters. I think.
Well,
where
they just
don't
want to be
see-
entertained, and they'll be like, I can ignore that piece. And you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Trump supporters, there are certain things in this universe.
Really,
that
Captain Segway? Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I needed something, and you got me there. So there are things in this universe that defy explanation. There's no rational reason why these things exist. Not the least of which are things that look like Trump. Shit that looks like Trump.
Genius.
So what exactly are we talking about? This, for instance. This was a cyst in a dog's ear, and there you go. uncanny resemblance.
The
Is
only
that
thing
not?
is the one in the dog's ear is going to go away soon.
Oh, and his name's Chief. How about the piece of ham?
Now, those eye holes where Jedi ate it raw.
And then, how can you forget the tub of vegan margarine? Oh, that looks exactly like it.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Ear of corn.
Nice.
Do you see the resemblance?
No.
Yes.
So that is today's shit that looks like Trump, right? Podcast. Yeah.
You know, the worst thing in nature looks like Trump is Eric, his son.
Oh, I was
Right.
like,
That's the abomination.
Okay.
yeah, I was just gonna roll with it. Yeah. So. Well, you know, look. Hey, no. Historically, Dean, thank you. Historically, Dean would start a joke, and I wasn't aware of the joke. This happened many times at the old station at 105.3, and Jagger would set Dean up with a joke that I didn't know about. And so my name Stopzilla came in because I thought I'd try to throw in a funny too and ruin the joke.
Yes.
So now I've learned.
And then I would fall back asleep till the next commercial break.
He would.
Oh my God.
I've had to learn to let it marinate. So
You have to, and
Yes.
give him his space.
that's it.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
So,
There you go.
Melissa, before we get Jagger on,
What are you gonna? I don't even know what you're asking me.
well, we were talking before the show.
No.
Why don't you roll her under the bus? You know, we have a camera in the bathroom, and we have secrets about you.
Listen,
There's nothing to see.
you went to Richardson.
I didn't go to Richardson.
You lived in Richardson,
I
but
lived-
you didn't go to Richardson High School. You went to Richardson J.J. Pierce.
I did.
Matter of fact, I did a fantastic during one-act play. I won the one-act play at J.J. Pierce doing Of Mice and Men. Can you guess what they typecast me as? That's right, Lynn.
The landscape?
No. Probably.
Oh, look what time it is.
No, it's not time for Jagger yet. But anyway, so you grew up at J.J. Pierce. Were you what were the Pierce what? What were they?
Mustangs.
Oh, the Mustangs. Yeah. Were you
M-U-S.
Were you a
I
cheerleader?
was a cheerleader.
Were you really?
Yes.
God.
How do you not know this?
I really
still have all of my uniforms.
Can you still fit in them? Because that's what you're coming in next week as.
Really? Do you want me to?
Misogyny.
Do you have a picture of you when you were a...
We're going to
Yes.
show it next week.
What do you want to see?
We want to see you in your cheerleader outfit.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, I was.
No. Go ahead.
Please. Okay.
I haven't had a crush in a long time. I got to do this.
Okay. All-American cheerleader.
Of course.
And yeah, so I would do I'm very flexible still. And what else do you need to know?
Well, no. So
I was more of a competitive. I was also on a competitive team, so I was a gymnast.
Were you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's. I mean, no kidding. Because this is something we didn't know about.
Here's
Yeah,
what I
that's
wanna
why
know.
I'm like so short and squatty. Because like as a child, when I was in gymnastics, we had to land on our knees or we would get in trouble. You'd have to do conditioning. So that's kind of why it stunted my growth.
I would have been a good base in cheerleading.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, speaking of a good base.
It's none of the Jagger. Live from Idaho. How you doing, Jagger?
Thank you for saving me.
How's everything in Boise?
You're getting closer, at least, to my neighborhood.
Actual,
I'm one state
okay.
over, but you're close.
Oh, thank you. How are you? Have you had a Crudo vodka lately, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
No, I haven't. Thank you very much.
Well, you
not
love
on my
it.
breakfast menu.
Oh, that's right. He's a little behind our time zone. So
Yeah.
But we don't want to say how behind.
Yeah, we don't want people stalking
It's a
you.
little-
That's all.
It's a little early.
Yeah. So
they can come to Portland. They can come to Portland, Oregon, anytime they want.
Oh, you gave it away.
Get some voodoo donut.
Name dropping.
Have you? By the way, have you explored the culinary scene there in Portland yet?
Here and there.
Here and there. Yeah. Cool. Well, I know you're
Yeah,
very
they
busy.
They have a great Chipotle's down the block.
I think aren't you a regular at a diner?
Doesn't count.
See, that's the difference between Jagger and Mondo. Is
Mondo, you can come and film their menu.
Thank you.
well, exploring the culinary delights to Jagger means going to like 5-star restaurants. To you, it's like you should have just asked. So you've been to every food court at every mall.
Thank you. Of course. So, Jagger, was it you that caught Dean snoozing last week?
Yes.
Yes, as I was watching, I was like, oh, look at Dean. It just reminded me of the mornings that we were on 105.3 The Fan doing the show there.
Oh,
and
man.
the subject matter would go to sports.
That's what I said.
And Dean, you're not a sports guy, and you just kind of
No,
back off.
I would fall asleep
and then
many
your
times.
eyelids would get very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes,
used the
it would
same
doze
excuse.
off.
He was wearing a wig and it hurt his eyes.
No, it's not an excuse. That's what happened. That hair and the
All
stuff he
right.
put on my
Yeah, but Dean, in your defense though, Mondo was going on and on.
See,
and
that's where I knew it was going to go. Actually, I thought Dean was going to bring that up. So I knew somehow I was going to be funneled into, it was Mondo droning.
Well, Mondo, he was looking over at you, and you're just droning on, and his eyes were just like, oh.
I wanted to try my own
Shut
version
up.
of hypnotherapy on Dean. That's
I feel like Andrew Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption, where he just gets used to being raped, and he's just finally, the queens come in the laundry room. He's like, "Could you guys hurry up? I've got some starching I've got to do." That's what this show feels like.
Right.
Mondo just starts, and I'm just like, "Fine. Do you mind if I fold some shirts while you're doing this?"
Right.
Oh, by the way, and the
Here we go.
the Oscar
Here we go.
This is a technical Oscar. The Oscar goes to Jansen for fine camera work during the crudo vodka section.
Thank you.
I've already been beating myself up enough today.
A little,
about
yeah,
it.
a little toasty. That's all. Hey, by the way, a little
The
bone.
kid's living on vodka and raw meat. Give him a break.
He has no carbs in him. Got a quick question for you. We were complaining about the lack of coffee in this very fine studio establishment that we have here at Pod City Podcast.
Oh my God! Do I
What's-
have to buy you coffee still?
No.
They're
Why can't there be a coffee machine here? You said that you didn't want it to turn into what?
Starbucks.
No. You said they were asking me about a break room and having a place to congregate and have snacks and drinks and things. and
Coffee?
I said not allowed. I said he's not here, and I'm not allowed.
No, there's a lounge. You can go into the lounge, but it doesn't need to be a mini Starbucks.
But why can't we even have a coffee maker here then? You're the executive
By the way,
producer.
Melissa, did they ever tell you the Starbucks story? I used to get,
This guy.
Starbucks cards, and give it to the intern. I'd get $100 at a time so that we could have coffee every morning. And one morning I said, if you guys want something else, go ahead and order it. Well, it turns into the intern would go to Starbucks practically doing grocery shopping for these guys.
What do you mean the intern? That was me that did that.
Well, you were one of many, and you're the only one who didn't have a Sherpa.
Yeah, because what would happen is, all right, we'd order our drinks, and then, I'll take a banana nut bread, Dean, lemon loaf.
Oh, the blueberry scones were
and then
so
it,
good.
It went from
Oh,
100.
no. They were coming back with those plastic boxes with fruit and cheese and apples and bananas
Yeah.
and side dishes.
Well, one guy, Jesus, he actually said when he would show up at that Starbucks, they would actually brighten up. They'd be like, "Hi!"
I bet.
Yeah.
So he said
suddenly it was costing me $600 a month at Starbucks. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I feel
These
bad
guys
about
tap
that.
the brakes.
and I can't believe you were watching every single penny.
Oh,
Well, these were change
yeah.
of heart days.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
change of heart days. Yeah, different
Yeah.
story.
Well, so we can't
Yeah.
have that here, right? You can bring in a drink and sit in the lounge, but the plumbing had to be cut off in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well-
can put a Keurig in the office. I
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
we can still get water
Okay,
from the
see?
bathroom to fill up the water basin so we can get some hot coffee.
Ugh, that's
Gross.
gross.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
come
What the
on.
fuck?
Are you serious?
From the water basin? Is
you
that what you-
elitist.
Yeah. There's also a leaky, rusty pipe. You can take a shower if you want.
Yeah,
You got 4 hours.
They have a shower there. Such an
Oh, my
aristocrat. All right, here's our What Would Jagger Do of the week.
Oh,
What would
Jagger.
Jagger do? Very game show sounding. Very good. All right, so Jagger, we're going to take it easy on you. Last week we asked you if you had to choose between being Donald Trump or Harvey Weinstein, who would you choose? And you chose, shockingly, Donald Trump. This week we're going to take it easy on you, and here is your question. You get to pick a show that is no longer on the air and magically give it one more season. What show do you choose? And we, by the way, we also thought we would pick a show that we think you would pick.
Yeah, so does he go first or do we?
Let Jagger go first. and then
Okay, Regis, how are you running this?
Phone a friend.
First of all, really, this is what you bother me for in Portland? Get on the show early.
You're
to
not
ask me
in
this
Portland.
question?
You're on the outskirts. You would never live in the city. I know you.
He is in the suburbs.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't even watch regular
I love
TV
Jay.
shows anymore.
I was having my testicles
No.
steamed, and you pulled me out of the room for this?
Yes.
Yeah, they have to be starched and cleaned and pressed.
There's dew on my crotch. I have things to do, my friend.
Look, I thought we were too heavy on you last week. I thought this. Oh,
Were
dude,
you
don't
des-
kill over. No one's giving you mouth to mouth.
Were you desperate? Was this a last-minute question? Was this?
No,
Yeah, this
very-
does feel like homework during the morning of.
No, very well thought out. Sent it yesterday. You obviously already know about it because you're ready to break balls. So don't even start. All right, so
He wants to know who wrote the question.
I did.
The award goes to.
Yeah, well, pick your show.
Lunkhead.
Pick your show. We're running out of show.
Yeah, and Topher's
There is
running
no
out of
shows.
sage to run against his crotch.
I don't care about any shows.
Okay, so you wouldn't choose like Sopranos for one more season.
Oh my God, The Sopranos had the greatest ending in TV history. Why would you? want one
Breaking
more
Bad
season?
did.
Huh?
Or Breaking Bad or My Sister Sam did. So don't even start.
Okay.
All right.
No,
well,
here's a better question, Mondo. The only way to survive is to eat your daughter or your wife. Which one are you going to eat?
I'm gonna eat my wife. You're
Oh,
damn
God.
right. There you go. Hey-oh. Hey-oh.
Hey, what about what you...
Melissa?
Yeah,
So tasty.
Melissa?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Melissa?
Yes. I'm listening.
Okay, listen. You know at the beginning of the show where the credits roll and I'm on there as executive producer?
Yeah.
Can you go in and edit that out?
No.
That's not going to prevent me from talking about how lovable you are and so fantastic.
I want to hear your theory on the penis in the morning and peeing.
Oh, this guy.
Forget the show. Do you really think that's true? Not true.
What?
No,
Okay,
Mondo
I
thinks y'all had an argument.
We had an argument a long time ago because you used to work with
Dr. Judy.
And who is she?
Dr. Judy.
And who is she?
A clinical psychologist, certified sex therapist.
Oh, that's right.
Right. And I said that you get a rager in the morning because you have to go urinate. And you tried.
Absolutely false.
Yeah, see, there we go.
See, and Mondo thinks
There is
for-
there is no correlation, and here's the simple explanation to that. If every time you had to urinate you got an erection, you would have erections every time you have to urinate.
No,
and it
because
doesn't happen that way.
No, because when you're asleep, you can't control that. So at night, to prevent that from happening, you can control it during the day. Oh, look, it's time for the show to end.
No,
Thank
but
you
hold
for this
on.
week's
No,
class.
we have
What?
2 more minutes.
All
That's
right.
not true because you would just
so
pee in your
what
pants.
do you think happens? That your dick fills up with urine?
No, silly. That's why you get a
You
rager.
idiot.
The seminal muscles through peristalsis stops it from happening, and then the peristaltic wave happens in your urethra,
Oh, wait
and
a
then the
second.
urine
my
shoots
God.
Because he
out,
knows
and then you're good.
peristaltic wave or peristaltic.
No,
think
you
he
can't
knows-
even
yeah,
spell
okay.
peristaltic. Don't even start.
It's a very simple thing. It's called Google. Google it, and you'll find out who's right.
No,
Yes.
no,
I'm an Ask Jeeves man.
No, we're
I'm
bringing.
an Ask Jeeves man.
Wait,
Forget you.
Stop. You use Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, so what?
Oh my
Everyone's
God.
attacking me.
Yeah, look at his history. He
I'm
googled.
cornered.
He googled taint earlier.
I did. Everyone back off.
We are bringing
You
in
know
a
what?
doctor.
There's
He's
the
put-
red pen.
He's putting out the red pen.
Yeah, we're soiling the table because of you. Now it's not clean anymore. All right, that's the Oddcast podcast.
Oh my God.
Live from Portland.
Well,
Huh.
to answer the
Thanks.
question, the show he doesn't want to hear again. Guess who?
What was the
Right.
game show? Hollywood
Change-
Squares?
Oh yeah.
No, change of heart.
No, I know that. Really?
Oh.
We have to bring that up again?
Yes.
How
Yes,
many
we
times
do.
have we heard that?
Oh, as many times you've heard cancer.
We love you, Mr. Dagger.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
my
Great show.
God.
Urologist
Bye.
and something else.
Sweating.
Adios.
Change of tumor.